name's Nick Langer. Who in this room enjoys chocolate?
Hey,
How many of you have ever stopped to think of what's in the chocolate you eat? In this speech, I'll cover where chocolate comes from, how it is made, and all the different types of things chocolate can be made into. First, I want to address where the chocolate we eat comes from. Chocolate grows in warm and wet climates all over the world. To be exact, it requires a temperature of 77 to 81 degrees Fahrenheit, and it also needs between 1,250 to 2,500 millimeters of rainfall a year. African countries lead the world in cocoa bean production. In fact, the top 4 cocoa bean producing countries in the world are from Africa, with the number 1 country, the Ivory Coast, producing 30% of the entire world's chocolate. The second tier of countries that produce chocolate are Central American countries. This includes places like Brazil, Ecuador, Peru, the Dominican Republic. The third tier would be Asian countries. Asian countries haven't always produced a lot of chocolate, but the pace has been rapidly improving in recent years. This includes places like Malaysia and Indonesia. Now that we know a few of the countries where chocolate comes from, I'm going to talk about the plant it comes from itself. Chocolate comes from the cocoa tree, or Theobroma cacao. This translates from Greek to food of the gods. This tree produces pods, and each pod contains anywhere from 20 to 75 cocoa beans. There's the last cocoa bean. Okay. In fact, according to Gadsby and Gallagher, a grove of cocoa trees produces annual yields of 50 to 60 pods per tree for the tree's entire life of 25 to 30 years. Now that we know where the seeds come from, we can move on to how the bean becomes candy. The process of turning cocoa beans into chocolate is actually quite interesting. First, the factories collect and sift through the beans to get rid of excess materials like rocks and bugs. Next, the beans are heated in ovens at temperatures of 200 to 300 degrees. Next, the shell is removed, and the remaining part is called a nib. It's right here. The chocolate we know is made from nibs with an addition of cocoa butter and sugar. The final step is to stir and cool the chocolate. This creates our final product, the chocolate liqueur. Now that we know about the factory process, we can discuss the chocolate that you and I are familiar with. There are many different variations of chocolate. If you want to create different kinds, you simply add or subtract a few ingredients. To make milk chocolate, one would add milk powder. Dark chocolate has nothing added to it. It is the base form of chocolate. The last type of chocolate I want to address is actually quite interesting. It's hot cocoa powder. To make this, the cocoa beans are crushed into a powder-like substance with a giant hydraulic press. Okay, in conclusion, we have learned where and what chocolate comes from, how it is made, and a few of the different things it can be made into. Thank you, and don't forget, it'll make you live forever.
Can the kitty come, Lizzie?